All right. Looks like we're live. Give it just a second here for everyone to file in. All right, looks like we're working. Okay. Excellent. Well, hello everyone, and thank you for joining me. My name is Jason Levine, Principal Worldwide Evangelist for Adobe Creative Cloud, focusing on video and audio. And today, for the next half hour, give or take 15 minutes or so, I will be talking about how to use AdobeStock video directly from within Premiere Pro. Hey, Amberly, how are you doing? And if you haven't investigated AdobeStock as of yet, it's been in the application for a little over, well, gosh, it's almost 2 years now. Losing track. We do so many updates so frequently. One of the benefits of Creative Cloud is that we can roll out these updates more frequently than ever, and you don't have to deal with the limitations of having the box stuff like you did years ago. But in any case, to show you really the integrated workflow with working with stock video, even if you thought to yourself, I never really can see myself using it, I'm going to show you a couple of examples where I immediately had just a need to grab some footage that I otherwise was unable to shoot. And with, I think today we're at 65 or close to 70 million pieces of content. Now this includes video, vectors, templates, images, 3D, and more. So much content on AdobeStock, it's just worth checking out. You can download previews directly right into your CC libraries. You can license directly from the timeline, even after you've made color correction changes and other things. It's a really simple workflow. I've been using it now quite a lot for, directly over the last year. And another thing that I'll point out at the very end is that we also have the ability for you to become a contributor. Hey, Wally Conductor, what's up? So if you've got a lot of content that you shoot, wherever you are, perhaps you shoot around the world, perhaps you shoot right in your backyard, you've got some beautiful looking footage, 1080p, 4K and beyond, we want you to become an AdobeStock contributor, so I'll talk a little bit about that as well. Lee Dang from Cali, what's up? And so yeah, all right, so let's get into it, shall we? So let me go ahead and switch over my screen. All right, there we go. And we'll start here in an edit, which is actually a piece from a little series that I started a couple of months ago. This is a piece from the trailer for my Jace's Travel Places series. So last couple of months I was kind of flying around the world and decided to shoot these little, sort of travel logs in various places. This one actually took place in November in Tokyo. And what I wanted to do was first show you the trailer that the team and I cut together, because there was something very significant, which I saw when I first ran the trailer myself, which is that the first couple of shots that they used weren't ones that we captured. We tried to get some cool time lapses and things, like in the train station and stuff. I didn't get to see all the raw footage, so evidently those didn't turn out as well, and we had to augment them. But in any case, take a look. Let me go ahead and bounce over to QuickTime here. I'll just turn my camera off for a quick second, and let me play you just a little bit of the Jace's Places introduction. All right, 1 second here, and here we go.
Konnichiwa, and welcome to Jace's Travel Places. Today we are in Tokyo. Something that's always been very close to my heart, music and design, is so...
Okay. All right, so again, what I really want to focus on, let me turn my camera back on here, were the first couple of shots. And if let me just go ahead and get out of the full screen here. If I wind back, these time lapses, so this one here, this next shot here in the subway, this next shot here, which actually looks like 2 shots potentially, and even this one here, which is at the similar corner where we were capturing. Evidently, the stuff that we got just kind of didn't hit the mark. So they wanted to look for some additional footage. And for that, of course, we turned to AdobeStock. Hey, Omar, how are you doing? Omar from Egypt, very nice. Oh, and Wally, I forgot you were in Poland, very cool. Now, one thing I want to point out is that while I'm going to show you how to augment your workflows, I've also done several projects entirely made of AdobeStock just for the purpose of trying to do it. And I don't have to show the whole things here, but one of them, which I've shown on screen before, is this little faux horror film trailer that my colleague Michael Shez and I cut together a few months back. And this was done entirely with AdobeStock. And the idea was to find all this various footage as we were coming up with the idea of this kind of fake movie. And I got to tell you, not only did we find great stuff, But I mean, even some of the content that I found happened to be uploads from one of my own colleagues, Mr. Terry White. In fact, the very opening shot of this trailer, unbeknownst to me until I actually looked at the details, came from Terry. So just a quick look at this and you'll see this is all Adobe stock content. So from, time lapses in a Tokyo subway station to really creepy horror movie stuff, take a look at this. This is Something's Happening. Okay. All right, so again, there's something where we had the idea and every piece of footage was acquired from Adobe Stock. By the way, this was also done live on stream. So the whole thing was cut together. All the sound design was done manually by yours truly in a matter of about 6 hours, okay? So Adobe Stock, again, millions and millions of pieces of content. Let's talk no further. Let's get right into it. So here we are inside of Premiere Pro, and again, I need some time lapses. So if you don't already have your library panel open, you can go up to the window menu, Mac or PC, and go ahead and just open and dock your libraries panel. Hey, Michael. Hey, Ryan. Thanks for joining me. Yeah, let's learn. Time to learn. Let's get to it. So here I've got my libraries panel docked along the left-hand side. And you can see at the top here, I can choose which library ultimately I might want to place things in. I'm going to use just my standard Jason's library. And then you have this search Adobe Stock field. So once again, you can search for content directly from within Premiere Pro, directly from within After Effects as well, just as you already might have been doing with Photoshop or Illustrator. So let's go ahead and just try. Let's see what we find. So we're going to do Tokyo time lapse. Now, when you start typing, this is something that we added. Gosh, I think this was in the November release or December release, filtered search. So this is the same sort of experience that you have on the web. And yes, Omar, that is Michael. So in this case, we could choose photos, illustrations, vectors, or templates. Obviously, we just want video. That's what we're trying to focus on for our replacement content here. And right away, you'll see that now we start to see all of the results that it's returned here. There's some really beautiful, really gorgeous looking, some very highly stylized content. I'm just kind of scrolling through it here. And in this view, you can see the durations and kind of get a good idea just via this single thumbnail. Now, if you want more detail on this content, let's go ahead and just zoom back out here. You're going to click on the play button. And as you can see, it doesn't actually play the video just yet. It actually tells you to watch the video on the web. Hello from Indonesia. All right, Hiskia, how are you doing? So I know a lot of people have asked me, that's a play button. Shouldn't it start playing the content in the application? Not yet today. This is a feature request. I hope we see that as well. I'd like to see that in there, certainly. But I'm thinking, let's maybe start. I have no idea. So let's start with this. Actually, this one looks pretty cool, this 10-second one. So let's go ahead and click on the play button. When I do that, now it launches your browser, whatever your default browser might be. I'm going to move this over so I'm not cutting it off there. All right, just like that. Very good. And now this kind of gives you an idea of what's happening. And it's also going to tell you all of the attributes of this content. So this is Tokyo Cityscape Time-Lapse HDR. And right at the bottom here, now you're going to start to see all of the actual attributes. So the dimensions, so this is a 1080p clip. By the way, we can also specify 4K if we so desire. Evil Cerise, great to see you. All right. You're going to be downloading an H.264 based QuickTime, gives you the actual bit rate of the content, the duration, the frame rate, and the actual file size, and who actually created this, and similar content from this series. So one of the nice things about this is I like to talk about the idea of auditioning content. You don't have to jump right in and buy this. Now, someone just asked there, Matt Chutzi, how are you doing? How much does this cost again? So it's going to vary based on the frame size available for your content. Okay, so this particular HD video, and you can read all about the licensing and what that entails. We'll do that perhaps in another stream because that can get quite detailed here. So this is $79.99 to download and purchase this clip. And of course, you can buy things like credits with your Adobe Stock accounts. Now, before I do that, I don't even know that this is going to work in my timeline, right? I'm just going to go ahead and license it just yet. So I have the ability to save the preview directly to my chosen CC library. So go ahead and click on this. It's going to go ahead and save that. It says that my preview was saved to my library. All right, sorry, getting a little bit of water there. So if we go back to Premiere Pro, through the power of Creative Sync, and let me go ahead and get rid of our search here. Oh, look at that. It's already there, okay? Now, this is basically when you do that, and I'm going to get a little thorough here because, again, that's why you're on our YouTube channel right now. This has not downloaded it to your project just yet. This just went ahead and placed that thumbnail in your videos, in your CC libraries as content that you've already sort of previewed. So one thing that I like to typically do, let me go ahead and just move this over here, is you can take this content and you can drag it from the libraries into your project panel. And when you do that, you'll actually see that it's going to bring up a progress bar. Why? Or a progress panel. Why is it doing that? Because it actually has to download the content, okay? So it's downloading the preview file, the watermark preview. And when you do that, you see that it already shows that it's been completed. Let's go ahead and close the progress window. Now it shows up here. When you see the shopping cart icon, that's telling you that it's not licensed. Not that we need to see that just yet, because if we double click and go ahead and play this in the source monitor, you can see there, although it's a bit masked from all this very cool moving time lapse, we've got the AdobeStock watermark right on there. That is right, Wally. His famous that he was doing De Niro. Yeah, so cool. So at this point now, you can see down in the timeline here, this is the content that I ultimately needed to replace. So we can, let's see. So the first shot, yeah, it's like a second. So I'm thinking maybe this, I kind of like as the sun kind of changes here. So maybe we'll just set an in point here. I'm just using shortcut key I, shortcut key O. All right. In and out on there. Let's just make track 2 a little bigger. And let's go ahead and drag this down. All right. And we can fade up if we want. I'm just going to add a little quick cross dissolve on there as well. I say little quick cross dissolve. Whoops. It's a really, really quick cross dissolve. Yeah, the shot is so short. Maybe we'll make this one actually a little bit longer. Now, let's give this about 2 seconds. Cool. Let's bring this back in here. Make that very tiny so it just quickly fades up from black. Right before that chord comes in. All right. Wind this back. And now the next shot was that Tokyo subway. So let's go back to libraries, and now I want to search Tokyo time-lapse subway. So let's see how we do. All right. So here we go. Just returned more results here. So again, one of the amazing things that I'm finding as I look at this stuff is, now a lot of this has to do with how people tag things, but there's some really spacey, cool, dramatic. So here's content that's available in both 4K and HD. Now, one thing that I want to show you here, let's just go ahead. We don't even have to go to the web this time. You know how that process works. Here, let me just I hate that offline graphic. Let's go ahead and see this one. This is 14 seconds, and you can see what it actually says about the this content. Point of view, time lapse through Tokyo tunnels via the automated monorail. Okay, cool. Sounds great. So let's go ahead and download the preview from here. So we're going to save the preview from here. Now, when you do this, now you'd see this on the web as well, when you have both options for 1080 and 4K, it asks you, what do you want, the HD or the 4K version? You can license either version later. All right, so again, the reason for this, of course, is that, one, there is, of course, a price difference. Okay, 4K is going to be more than the HD. But if I'm cutting in 1080, unless I'm planning on doing some cropping and reframing around this content, hey, Tackle Boys, how are you? I don't necessarily need the 4K. And by the way, I'm a big believer in getting the biggest format possible. You never know what you're going to do, what you're going to use. Maybe I'd take this and I would do my own sort of dolly type shot, zooming in, or, a push or a pull in or out on that 4K content. That looks already quite spacey. So, there's options, there's reasons to do it. And in fact, maybe we'll do that just for the preview, just to see if that's the kind of the thing that we want to do. So let's go ahead and grab the 4K preview. All right. And right away, you can see there it is, shows up in our library. All right. We didn't even have to flip over this time. So again, it's just so easy. I can just keep searching and grabbing stuff. And if you do it from the web, in fact, so let's go back over here. let's research, and we'll do Tokyo time lapse. We'll just do a general time lapse here. We're going to do just videos, okay? All right, and let's just go ahead and grab a few previews down to the library, okay? And again, you can choose what you want. Now, this is a proper, this looks like this was proper 4K video. That other one was a different scale, so that could have been shot with a red, who knows? It would tell you, again, when you look at the attributes there, when you download the licensed version. Let's go ahead and save a 4K of this. And by the way, when you hover over the thumbnails on the web, this is not unlike what sort of happens. It just starts doing like an autoplay. So that's really nice. So you really get an idea of what this is going to look like. Again, in kind of a lower res version here. These are nice. Ah, that's very cool. That actually looks a lot like the shot that they used. So let's go ahead and grab a preview here. And we'll just do a, let's do an HD just for the heck of it. We'll kind of mix it up a little bit. All right, so now we've got a bunch of new previews that we can grab and download. All right? Very cool. Why does AdobeStock downsize to an unusable and non-standard? James, so it's not a question of downsizing, so it really depends on what was uploaded. So a lot of times, particularly with time lapses, you know, these were captured in camera. So, and not, in other words, the camera's creating a video file perhaps, but it's not sort of standard 3840 2160. So you're going to see that with a lot of high-end cameras that create time-lapse movies. So that's why you're going to see a variation. Also, it's entirely up to, you know, again, if you were shooting with something like the, what was that Red Scarlet? Was that the 3K camera? There's going, you know, there are variations in frame size. So some of them, it'll create a standard 1920 1080 and then a 3840 2160, and the others you'll see kind of variations like you did before. So let's go ahead and download these once again. I'm just going to grab this and drag it in. And we can do multiple files simultaneously. And you'll see that despite even being 4K, these are pretty fast, okay? It does a pretty quick job of downloading this stuff. Of course, it's entirely dependent on your connectivity, right? We are doing this in the cloud, so make no mistake about it. It still's got to do a bit of downloading here, but it's pretty fast. And of course, depending upon how you have your project set up. Now, typically for most of the projects that I'm working in, I'll make proxies of everything, even these kinds of previews. Now, you can enable or disable that function, by the way, just to talk about that. So for those of you unfamiliar with proxies, basically lighter weight versions of your content. If we're downloading a lot of 4K and I'm doing a quick edit and I want to be able to see everything kind of full quality, on my laptop here, I can't really get 4K full res playback. So I make 1280 proxies, or rather 720p proxies, which are a single click to switch between proxy and native. It does that automatically in Premiere, and it just kind of makes the playback and cutting process a little smoother. You can find where to enable ingest and proxy creation under File, Project Settings, Ingest. Okay, and you can see here for this project, I don't have it enabled. Now, if I go ahead and tick this box, every subsequent Adobe Stock video that I download a preview for or license, it's going to create a proxy based on whatever it is I chose. So if I said something like create proxy, you can see we've got a couple of standard sizes here. Now, again, to that question earlier, you can make your own presets for your own particular frame sizes. You know, like this one here, this 1536 by 790. I can't remember what this equates to. I think this comes from one of the Red cameras or something. But again, it's not that. It's not those standard even HD 4K, you know, Ultra HD presets that we're used to seeing. 720p obviously conforms to those, but you can see we've got others, and you can make your own. Now, I'm not going to enable this here, just wanted to show you where that was. All right. Very cool. Okay. Yep, Scarlett's a 3K one. Okay, yeah, it's been a while. They, you know, now with 8K, the 8K weapon, it's hard to keep all that, keep track of it all. Okay, so let's see what we've got here. So here's that one of those that we just grabbed. Ooh, that's pretty slick. Yeah, look at how cool that is. And again, if we look at the attributes here, you can see that this one is 4096 2304. All right, so that looks really pretty sweet. Now, again, as 4K, you know, it's gonna be pretty huge already. And there's a lot of stuff. Wow, there's a lot of like twists and turns in this. I kind of like that. So let's see. Let's just pick, we need like a second and a half here. Just a quick section that we can drop in. Now, as I mentioned, this might be something... Oh, my snapping's turned off. This might be an opportunity for us to like do, you know, a push, or in this case, probably pull out, because obviously this content, look at that. Yeah. So maybe we could do a fast pull out on this. I don't know that I'd necessarily do that, but we could here just because it's 4K. Let's go over to effects. That might just add a little something to it. All right. Let's go to my effects controls on this. All right. And let's start it actually like at a 70% scale. Okay. We'll set a keyframe here. Let's go to the end, and so go right down to 50%. And that's going to be pretty fast, but the whole thing is moving quickly. Let's take a quick look at this real fast. Yeah, that kind of works. And notice it's cut right on that beat where the piano comes in. And kind of sort of fades. As the piano's fading out, the shot is pulling out as well. I kind of like that. I think that's pretty cool. You get the idea. We're not talking about editing so much, just about using this content. Let's go ahead and drag one more of these in. This is that point of view time lapse. All right, maybe not that one. We're looking for that city shot. Yes, this. So cool. Now, this is another idea where, you know, we might take this and speed this up even further. So let's go ahead and maybe this. All right, we're going to grab a little bit extra on this one. Let's drag it down. And now what I actually want to do, let's do a little bit of a time remap on this. Okay. So let me drag these down. All right. Now if I right click on this little effects badge that you see right here, can you make it that if you mix and match different frame sizes that any clip goes to any frame size? Sure. So you have the options here, always in Premiere Pro, to scale to frame size or to set to frame size. Okay. And actually my good friend Premiere Gal, who's sometimes in here, are you in here today, Kels? Just did a whole tutorial on the differences between set to frame, scale to frame. There might also be, that's a great question, and this is a learning stream, so let me just see. I think there is actually an auto option. There might be. Yeah, here it is. Default scale to frame size. Okay? So notice I have that unchecked for a reason, because I want to do my own scaling. Some things I will rescale, some things I won't, some things I'll keyframe the scaling. But you can, by default, enable that checkbox and have things automatically conform to the frame size of your sequence. Also, if you create a sequence, that box is unchecked, the sequence is empty, and you drag something in, it'll ask, do you want to reconfigure the sequence to this new frame size, frame rate, or do you want to keep the existing settings? So we do a really good job of kind of alerting you of what's happening, and it's very, very cool. All right, so this one right here. Oh, and did I just kill the audio on it? I didn't mean to do that. Sorry. Let's try the video here. Okay. This one, I kind of want to speed this up. So if I right-click on this effects badge here, I'm going to go into speed, and now this gives me a speed handle. Now, we talked about this in another stream. For this, I'm thinking I want to use frame blending as my method. I don't know that optical flow is going to buy me anything, so I'm going to use a frame blending method for time interpolation. And let's make this exactly half. Now, you can do this sort of numerically here by duration. All right. Click on that and go like this. Or I can also just click this, your time-lapse, what do you call this? Speed bar. I'm forgetting the name of the term here. Why that's cool, though, is that if you speed it up, again, you actually get a visual indicator. Do you see the side of the clip there? As it appears, showing you that it's getting longer or shorter. So we can make, you know, an adjustment to this very quickly. All right. Nice. So let's now play this back from the start. And actually here, we can go ahead and erase these so we don't have to see that offline stuff anymore, because now we've officially replaced these, and I like the way this is looking.
Konnichiwa and welcome.
Sweet. Right, that nice little speed ramp in there. right? So we we hyperlapsed the time lapse. That doesn't make any sense. We just sped up the time lapse. In any case, I like this. So now, and I really love this. This is an amazing shot. I don't know that I love actually I do love my push, but I want to license this content. Now, before I do that, maybe I'm going to get into a little color. So I just want to kind of showcase this because this again speaks to why this workflow is so cool. Because I'm trying to make this kind of fit together with the look of the rest of this content. So just to be very simple here, I've got my scopes up over there. Let me just go ahead and drop the highlights a little bit. It's going to make a couple of quick non-destructive changes. Let's increase the black level. Maybe add a little bit of faded film actually. And then I'm just going to click through here and see maybe there's a LUT that I might want to place on this. Ooh, that's kind of cool. Again, a lot of these very film-like. I like that one. Yeah, I do like that one. That's got kind of a very cool feel to it. Let's drop those shadows. All right, maybe we vignette this. Maybe I don't love this one. Maybe we go to something else. Okay, again, this is very film-like, so maybe we'll drop our faded film here. Maybe increase the intensity of that LUT a little bit more and increase some saturation. This is one of the film stock LUTs, one of the Kodak ones that I absolutely love. I use these all the time. So now you can see the previous shot segueing into this shot. It just kind of works better. Like the lighting is almost exact right there. Pretty cool, right? So that's the idea, is that I integrate this into my content. All right? Hey, Matt Juicy, I'm glad you're watching it too. That's right. We're trying to match the shot here. So I do a bunch of work on this. Maybe I blur something else. Maybe I do something else to this shot. I add additional effects, whatever it is. I'm watching it in the context of my edit. Now I want to license it. So here is really where Adobe Stock is different from everybody else in terms of the stock video process, because you can license directly from here. It downloads the full resolution version in the background. It will swap out that watermark when you're done, and you just keep on working. And all of the settings, everything that you've done to it remains. So let's do that. So simply by right-clicking or control-clicking on this clip, I can choose to license it. All right, so let's go ahead and license. Pulls up a little dialog here, and once again it says, do you want to license which one? Last chance. So now we're working in the 4K. I like that 4K version because again, it's giving me more room to work with and do that little push-pull there. So let's go ahead and grab the 4K version, license it, okay, and boom, all right? So while right at the moment we're seeing the media offline graphic, the reason for that is that, again, if we go to our progress bar, you can see now, up at the top here, that it's downloading that full 4K video, all right? Now, hold on, I'm just going to read some of your comments here. Are some of these clips raw? So, Machusi, yeah, so now the file formats will vary, of course. That's why we tell you what you'll be downloading. So, for instance, particularly with 4K, I can't remember what it said this one was. We'll be able to see it in just a moment. This one I think actually was an H.264 export because it was, again, probably done on as a dot move on the camera, not as actual from like a video camera. It's probably a DSLR creation. A lot of them you'll see as ProRes 422, 444. So those are effectively, greater than 8-bit. Which is what you want. Now, when you say raw, that doesn't necessarily mean flat either, but again, depending upon the format and what it is, you may have just non-destructive metadata, which is causing certain color looks to those things. I myself, as a contributor on Adobe Stock, I've been uploading, now all my stuff is 1080, so it's not raw, but you can download flat and or graded versions. So it's just going to depend on the content, and that's why going to the site to actually see the attributes makes a significant difference, because it'll tell you exactly what you're downloading. You'll see some JPEG 2000 or motion JPEG downloads available to you, and I believe there's R3D content up there, which would be raw. Okay, all right, so it's done. Let's go back to our program monitor, and oh, look right there. Very cool, right? Notice all my color changes still applied, but what's missing? The Adobe Stock logo. So while I was giving that little rant just there, okay, And you may have noticed, even on this machine, that the playback of this, it was still okay. It was a little choppy, because now we're dealing with a full res, full bit rate 4K file. So, you know, again, I'm using GPU acceleration on the... Actually, am I using GPU acceleration? Good question. I am. So I'm using CUDA acceleration on here, you know, at quarter res. But yeah, again, that's from a native file. So this is where oftentimes, once again, if I had that box checked for proxy creation, it would have just swapped that out sans the watermark with the proxy version just to kind of speed up my playback, because this is an older laptop, so it gets a little when it's trying to play that stuff back. Did you like that sound effect? Okay. So hold on, I'm going back to the questions here. Da-da-da-da-da. Okay. All right, Jeremiah, I don't know where your first question was here. There are instances, if you're going to be doing a time remap, any speed changes plus warp stabilizer, yes, then you have to nest. If you're simply stabilizing but not time remapping, you do not have to nest. And there's other benefits of nesting as well, but that's basically the MO there. Okay. All right, so friends, that's it. That's licensing. Real simple. Now, as I mentioned before, too, this was an example. And by the way, I actually kind of love all of these. I think I'm going to make that... hold on, let me make that crossfade a little bit longer. Very cool. This is, again, augmenting a project you saw before where I did a project entirely with AdobeStock. Just wanted to show you one more little example here. Just bounce back to QuickTime for a second, which was a combo, again, of the two. So I won't show the whole thing, but just very briefly, I'll kind of scrub through it. So this was a friend of mine who was doing a project, a video project, I'll turn off the camera real quickly, for an adult adventure camp in Alaska. And let's turn the volume down so I can keep talking. So this actually has a soundtrack that I scored, but it's a combination of AdobeStock footage and some footage that he shot via a GoPro and a couple of nice high-end cameras throughout the Alaskan wilderness. But this kind of shows you the breadth and the you know, in a very fast way, excuse me, the variety of these are pretty majestic shots. Now, again, I did grade these. A lot of them already came pre-graded. But there's some really beautiful, dramatic stuff here. There's a lot of drone footage. That's something else, too, to point out. Anyone who's shooting drone, you want to become a contributor, all right? You got to do this. You got to do this. There's no loss to you. There's no reason not to become a contributor. It's free to become a contributor. If you're a CC member, you sign in. Worst thing that happens is they don't accept your content. You know? That's not judging. That's just they have to, you know, hey, it's personally curated because we want great stuff up there. I've uploaded a bunch. A lot of stuff didn't get taken. Some of it did. You can find my stuff by searching. Actually, I don't know if we have searchable by artist just yet, but if you search on lions at night or hyenas at night or elephants in the African jungle, I'm trying to think of some of the keywords that I used. I did this whole safari. That's a lot of the stuff that I have up there. And then you can just kind of see my whole catalog once you're up there. Anyway, so this is kind of a complete edit augmented with original footage and stock content from my friend's GoPro. All right? Let's see, what else have we got here? Matt Chusey. So does Adobe have any sound effects libraries? That's a great question. So we do, actually. And you can find those libraries here. I'm going to put a link in here for you. Wally Conductor, AdobeStock, great service to fuel creativity. Fantastic comment, Wally Conductor. So this link that I'm typing in the chat right now, bear with me here as I do this one-handed. This is a link to my aging blog, buddhajumusic.com. Go there, search on Loopology, Loopology, and it will take you to a link where you can download thousands and thousands of sound effects, music beds, loops, all of which I created those, by the way. And they're all royalty free. So we do. We do not currently have audio in Adobe Stock. And actually, that was a great segue into the very... Even that coughing sound effect ships with CC. Yes, absolutely. That was also a great segue into the very last thing that I wanted to show you in today's YouTube Live Prezzo, which is, what if you need, quote-unquote, stock music, stock audio? Well, I can't tell you where you can go for stock music. I can tell you that the idea of stock music, I'm a composer anyway, was not really something that appeals to me in general. I really want content that like an artist would create. So for that, and this was something that I showed a couple of weeks ago, we actually have a partner called Audio Network, and they have a panel called the Audio Network Music Panel that integrates directly into Premiere Pro. Now, unlike other music licensing services, once again, it's a panel that integrates directly into Premiere. So we can dock it over here. It's directly integrated. This is a production music catalog. Okay, this is not your typical, you know, free content on the phone when you're making home movies and it all. Yeah, it's all very nice, but kind of the same. No, this is like artistry reimagined. There's really great stuff on here, and just like with Adobe Stock, it's directly integrated. So you can preview, it appears right in the panel. You can license directly from this panel. They've just done a really good job of making it very easy. So let's say that I wanted sort of electronic house, Electro Beats. Why not? All right. Search on some Electro Beats. Kind of just gives you an idea of what we can find here. Let's take a listen to this. Just first one here. Best day of my life. 4 to the floor beats. We like that. Oh, dirty raga trap with male vocal. Okay, I don't know if I want vocal. Let's see. Thoughtful piano over steady beats and ambient. Okay, that's kind of similar to what we just heard before. So let's try this one. So I can click on play. Does a quick connect to the cloud here. Turn this up so I can hear it. Skip ahead. Okay. And I can choose to download, preview. Now, I just want to show you, I can also favorite this. One of the nice things about this is that you can create new projects. Projects are just kind of a way to organize like musical types. You can see I've got a whole series of folders for sort of orchestral epic sounds, rocking driving sounds. I could make another one, smooth, chill, electro pop, or just place it in my favorites. Also, when you actually download the content, and just to kind of show you that process here, all right, you're actually going to get a little indicator. Again, very, very fast. The nice thing about audio, unlike video, is it's significantly smaller. One track downloading, boom, imports the file. High quality track downloaded. This is the coolest thing, though. This is what I wanted to show you, and I'm gonna close with this. Notice it actually creates an Audio Network folder in your project folder, all right, where that music is housed. So here it is. Let's play this back so you can see. Or here, rather. Oh, is it conforming? Why am I not hearing it? All right, I'm not going to play it right now. Don't worry about that. But what I wanted to show you was what's awesome. Let me go back to the panel here. Is that just in terms of organization, and this is something that they also did really right under settings here. By default, it's also going to place your content into the same master folder where that project lives. So it's just one of those things, you know, you download stuff, you're grabbing content from wherever. It can get a little confusing where these things end up. This way, you just take your content, you can drag it down into your timeline. Okay, there's our music. Let's go ahead and mute the original one here. Let's move this over. Let's wind back. Let's play this. My settings changed somehow? No? All right. Premiere's just decided to stop playing audio. Well, I think that's as good of a time as any to end the stream. So, my friends, today we talked about how to use Adobe Stock, how to search in Adobe Stock from within Premiere Pro, how to go to the web to see more additional details, and how to preview, save previews directly down to your CC libraries, which is virtually instantaneous. You can see all of the attributes of your content. You can then download and bring that content via previews in 2K or 4K directly into your project panel and begin dragging that content right into your own projects. You can add color, you can add corrections, you can add effects. If you like what you see, then directly from the content itself, you can right-click or control-click. You can choose to license. It then asks if you've got 4K, do you want the HD or the 4K version? It downloads the full resolution version in the background and then replaces the content in the timeline without the watermark. Simple, easy, elegant. Now, one last thing. If you want to become a contributor, what is it? stock.adobe.com/contributor. There it is. So this is the URL that you want. Oh, contributor.stock.adobe.com. That works too. Okay. And this shows you how you can actually become a stock contributor. All right. So sell your own content. Oh, you couldn't actually see the URL. Here, I'm going to go ahead and type. Sorry. I'm on my screen. All right. So it's stock.adobe.com/contributor. All right. And you can instantly become a stock contributor. Start uploading your content, right? Flat or graded, they take both. HD, 4K, always, we're looking for 4K. Show us what you got. I did a whole series you can find on my YouTube channel about stock contributions from the cutting room floor. I had years and years of content that was beautifully shot with beautiful glass, beautiful lenses, doing nothing. Why not try and monetize it somehow? And also just to kind of learn the process and see how it works. And you can be doing that too. So thank you so much for joining me. Again, my name is Jason Levine. I'll be back tomorrow on the After Effects Facebook page, talking about some cool things there, and later in the week on the Premiere Pro Facebook pages as well. Thanks again for joining. This replay will be available on the Adobe Creative Cloud YouTube channel in just a couple of moments. So if you didn't catch the whole thing or you want just a quick refresher, you'll be able to watch it there too. And for additional training and videos, you can also go to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Jason Levine video. So thanks everyone. Have a great rest of your day. We will see you again next time. Take care. Bye-bye.